Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on BJPENN.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. In episode 153, we got a good lineup here ahead of UFC 298 on Saturday. First up, we're going to be joined by one half of the co-main event and former UFC middleweight champion, Robert Whittaker, to preview his fight against Paulo Costa. This is a really good interview with Rob. He's very focused on this one. He knows he didn't fight to his best ability against Dricus, and he really wants to prove that he is still a title contender at middleweight, and he really wants to hurt Paulo Costa. That was a thing he pointed out multiple times in the interview, that he's coming out to hurt Costa. And he says he wants to make a statement and prove that he can be the middleweight champion again. As he said, right now that is his focus, is become champ again and retire on top. And then we close things out talking to Geoff Neal to preview his fight against Ian Machado Gary. These two are supposed to fight in August. Geoff's really looking forward to getting this one back, as he thinks this is a good style matchup for him against Gary, and he thinks a big knockout win here really moves him up the welterweight ranks, gets him back into a title picture. But be sure to share the show, subscribe, and tune in next week for another episode of Just Scrap Radio. All right, we're joined by UFC middleweight Robert Whittaker, who's back in action at UFC 298. Robert, how's it going, man?
Very good, very good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, obviously been a bit since the summer we saw you. I know that fight. There was a lot of rumors since the fight that you went into that one a bit banged up. Was that the case for you? Did you enter that fight with a bit of an injury?
I'm not going to go into it. No fighter goes into a fight 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess overall, I wasn't super happy with the camp and with the preparation leading into it. And, it wasn't optimal for myself, but everything is 2020 in hindsight, right? It's easy to point at those things and pick at those things after the fact.
What do you take away from that camp then that you didn't like that you kind of changed for this one?
Mate, where to point the finger? It's just the way I was doing things. I wanted to focus on different things. I think the way I took away some aspects from last camp, and I've implemented new things into this camp, and I don't know. I'm very happy with the result now. I'm actually currently in California right now, just climatizing and get ready. So the camp is more or less done. Just because I'm, tightening the bolts, keeping the blood moving, this week. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very happy in the place that I am now, and very happy in, the form that I'm coming into to fight Costa.
Just last thing on that last fight is what did you take away from that? Because Dricus is a pretty awkward guy to fight. It is pretty hard to fight someone that's that kind of big and strong and just kind of rushes forward like that. What did you kind of take away from that?
Yeah, he is. He is a big dude. He is a strong guy, and he's awkward as hell. You saw not only in my fight, but you saw that in the Strickland fight. He's just awkward. He throws from anywhere, and with reckless abandon, and it works for him. It works for him really well. He uses it to good effect. I guess the biggest takeaway from that fight is just that maybe I underestimated him. Maybe I didn't take the fight maybe I didn't give it what's the word? Yeah, maybe I just underestimated a little bit. Maybe I wasn't ready for the type of fight that he was going to bring. Because you saw that when he fought in his last fight as well with Strickland. Dogged pursuit. He was just hungry. He was just moving forward the entire time. And props to him. You got to give it to him. He comes to fight and he's willing to leave it all there. And I don't know. In hindsight, maybe I didn't give that the gravity it deserved.
And then after that one, you get offered Paulo Costa. Was there any hesitancy to accept it after kind of everything that happened last February and you're supposed to fight in Australia?
Zero hesitancy. I was looking for a fight. I'm looking for a fight. I was looking for a fight. I wanted to fight sooner even because I was looking, for that January mark time frame, maybe even late December. But the way things happened is the way things happened. They gave me Costa, and I jumped at the bit. I'm excited for this fight. And we've been meaning to cross paths for a while now. And, yeah, he's a high-caliber guy. I like high-caliber fights. He's high in the rankings. It makes perfect sense for both of us.
Were you ever worried that, if might not happen or something might happen with him again, especially after he said, he hadn't signed the contract yet at that point?
I didn't even know. It was there's a lot of other people that were telling me. He said he hadn't signed. I don't care. I don't care. UFC will find me someone to fight. I had the date, and I was prepping for that date, and someone was going to get forward at that point.
And I don't even think signing the contract's that big a deal. Because like I've talked to fighters that like just sign it when they get to fight week. Like it's just all agreed to, and they're just like, yeah, I'll just sign it when I get to Vegas or wherever it is.
100%, and I'm glad you brought that up because I've mentioned it before. I don't know why it's such a big deal with the signing the contract, because I get the phone call or in the email chain, they say, do you want to fight X on this date? I say yes, and that's it. Because back in the day, I was really slack with signing contracts. I wouldn't sign the contracts till like 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, but it was never a big thing because when I give my word, when I speak to you and I say, yes, this is the date that I'm going to show up and fight, that's it. That's what's happening.
And with Paulo, like, what have you made of his Pascal fight? Like, we haven't seen him since that Luke Rockhold fight, and then kind of before that, he had that weird one with Vittori where he just kind of showed up and said, "All right, we're doing this at light heavyweight now." Like, what have you kind of made his last couple fights?
Yeah, he's I don't know. I do feel he takes the piss a little bit, but I don't know. It works for him. He's doing his thing. All I know is that I've trained like I always have. Come Feb 17, I'm coming ready for violence, and I hope he is too.
Do you think this is similar to like that Dricus or Yoel fight where it's just like this big guy that just wants to kind of go forward and strike with you?
Not really. I never compare fights like that because every fight is different, especially anything can happen on the night, but also styles make fights, right? So I'm looking forward to, like, he's a big power puncher. He's a bully. He loves to get in there and just bully his opponents. And I've prepared for that. But, yeah, I'm prepared to take the fight to him. I'm looking to get in there and really dig into him. Winning isn't the objective. It's hurting him. That's the objective, mate. And I'm looking forward to it.
You did say you went out to California a bit early. Like, when did you kind of go out there, and what was the reason to go out there a bit earlier?
I've only just got out here,
Okay.
So this is the first day being out here. I like coming around the 12-day, 10-day mark because I acclimatise. I get jet lagged a fair bit, but also it's a good way for me to come in comfortable and also just like kind of coast into the fight week and the fight week work. Because, mate, I don't know if you know this, but I got a ton of kids back home. So being at home and doing this, it's noisy, man. It's noisy and there's a lot of things going on. So to come here a little bit early with my old man and my laptop, I just get to cruise out a little bit and just unwind, I guess.
And then for you, what's it like to be on this card sharing it with Volk? Like, obviously you guys are supposed to be on that card last February. That didn't happen, but now to kind of be on the same card as him again, where you two are the main and co-main event.
Yeah, well, we were on the main card in that Dricus fight. He was.
Right, yeah. He was fighting Yair on that card. So I guess it's back to back for you guys.
So no, it's good. It's good. It's like having a little slice of home with you, like at the fight conferences, at the fight press, at the fight week, at the fighter hotel. So it's cool. It's cool. I love sharing cards with my fellow kinsmen. It's part of the game. It's part of the business.
With Paulo too, like you mentioned, like he likes to talk a lot and like just say all this stuff. So, like, are you like, how do you kind of get right that with the press conference, just kind of like everything he says? Because like he seems to make a lot of jokes kind of about everything, and like kind of, I feel like it would just be like odd to be there with some of the stuff he says.
You know what? I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's to be fair, I don't understand everything he says. So that's, I guess, why I'm looking forward to it, because I think it'll be funny. I think it'll be funny and it'll be a bit of fun.
You were saying that it isn't just to win. You do want to hurt him. So like, how do you kind of see it playing out then?
Mate, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to take violence to him. That's the whole plan. The objective is just to hurt him, to break him, and that is the concept I've done the entire camp with, and that is the objective that's in mind when I step in there, Feb 18.
What do you think will win, especially if you go out there and finish him? Like, does feel like you're always kind of right near the top, anyways. Especially when Paulo would do good. Feel like, where do you think that does for you in this division?
I'm towards my oyster, honestly. Honestly, my calendar doesn't go much further than the fight date, so I've got full focus and energy into beating him, and then once he has been beaten, I will, I'll assess myself. I'll sit down and we'll look at, all the options.
Were you glad to see Dricus become the champ? So like that rematch could be for the belt then?
Honestly, it doesn't bother me. Like, it wasn't something I was invested in either way. It makes perfect sense though, because Dricus is on a list of rematches that I want. It's something I do want to run back. I do believe that I beat him 9 times out of 10. It was just his night. And yeah, the fact that he has the title, it'll make that all the sweeter.
What kind of makes you think that, where you think you beat him 9 times out of 10 then?
I feel like in that fight against Dricus, I didn't get to display what I could do. I feel like I didn't turn up on that night. And if you look at the fight and you look at the way I was performing, the things that I was doing, I wasn't really fighting like myself at my full potential. But I don't want this to turn into me taking stuff away from Dricus. He did turn up and he was ready to fight and he beat me. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. But in my heart, I want to run that back. I have something to prove there.
Were you surprised he beat Sean, and like kind of a two-parter? Like, do you think he beat Sean? Because I know it was a pretty close fight. People were pretty split on who they thought won.
Yeah, I thought after watching the fight, I thought straight away Dricus won. I thought he had done enough. I thought he was pushing the pace and taking the fight to him the entire time. Landed some good tactical takedowns as well. I thought that was, it was impressive. And I think also his ability to stay disciplined and follow a game plan was impressive. Before the fight, I thought that could be an option. I thought that was a possibility. Dricus could do that moving into Sean. But I also thought Sean would do more. I thought he would do more in the striking and land more strikes than he did, or at least garner some sort of respect with Dricus to stop him from moving forward. But like I said, man, Dricus is a tough cookie, man. He was just moving forward. He took a lot of shots. You can look at the numbers. He took a lot of shots. And he was just moving forward, pressuring him the entire time.
You did say Dricus is one of the couple rematches you want. Like, who are the other ones then that you have your eye on?
Oh, well, I still want to beat Adesanya, right?
Yeah.
So that's the list.
It's those two, just the two guys that have beaten you, so that middleweight, just them.
That's it, mate.
With Adesanya, like, what have you kind of made of his last little bit, where like the Strickland fight really surprised me, and then he's kind of been like, I'm going to take a time off, and then he kind of joked it's going to be a couple of years. Now it seems like he might be back, right? Like, what do you kind of made the last couple of months of him?
Who knows what he's doing? And I thought it was very, like, I never thought he was going to go away. If he did want to have a break, good on him. He's been pretty active in the last, like, through his career, but honestly, not really fast.
Just final thing, I know you said your calendar doesn't go past much February 17th, but like, is there a goal for you this year, like a certain amount of fights or like something you want to accomplish, or is it just kind of day by day for you?
It's day by day, but my objective in my career is I want to get the belt back and wrap things up on top, top of the food chain. That's the objective still for my career. And yeah, I'm going to be heading in that direction. Every fight, every training session is always moving in that direction.
Well, Rob, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for doing this again.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're joined by UFC welterweight Geoff Neal, who's blue because he's doing a bit of recovery. Jeff, how's it going, man?
Yeah, it's going good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Like, obviously, you're supposed to fight last August. You had to pull out. Like, how disappointing was it? Because I know, like, for a while there, you've had some trouble getting fights, just staying healthy, and then, like, how disappointing was that to have to pull out of that one?
I mean, pretty disappointing. Like, especially going through, like, having, like, the camp that I did. It was a real good camp, and then having to pull out at the end. And it's like, when you have to pull out of fights, you pretty much have to pull out of making money, too. So that was not good. So, but I'm glad I got the fight back. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to.
Oh, you went on mute.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but yeah, he didn't want to fight me at first. Again, like he's pretty much said like there's no point in like rescheduling that fight, but for whatever reason, it got rescheduled. So I'm grateful to get that one back.
What did you make of that Neal Magny fight? 'Cause obviously he stepped in for you on short notice. Was kind of one sided. Then obviously supposed to fight Luke, and kind of everything went down to them. But like, what you make of that Magny performance from him?
No, it was a good performance. He played it right. Smart. He had a real smart game plan for Neal, and he executed it. But we'll see his game plan when he fights me.
I know going into that fight, he was full of trash talk to you. Like he was wearing like your mug shot and stuff. Like, did that annoy you with everything he was doing before your fight?
Nah, I mean not really. The only thing annoying was like everybody was expecting me to be annoyed by it. You know what I mean? That was like the only annoying part about it. Like I really didn't give a fuck. Like I seen the shirt, I actually laughed at when I first seen it, but it isn't for a character by him because like he went from like messaging me on Instagram saying, "Hey man, thanks for accepting the fight. Uh, best of luck on your camp," and then went to make that shirt. So it was kind of confusing. But other than that, man, it is what it is. Hope he wears a shirt to the press conference when we fight.
I know he made that video on social media, and I know Safe wasn't too happy where he called you like a pussy and stuff for pulling out. Like, did that like because that annoying? Because like it is like you don't pull out or you aren't scared of anyone. Like you had to have a reason for him just kind of say like, oh,
Yeah,
you're
bro.
scared to fight him.
Fight for a living, bro. Like me being scared is like kind of laughable. Like nobody in the UFC is fucking scared. If you are scared, like then you're not gonna last long. But I mean, he can say what he wants to say. You know, like at the end of the day, we have a date. You know, February 17th. So we're gonna see who's scared when we step in the cage.
Do you think there'll be less antics from him after kind of everything that happened in December with him and all
Not
that?
at all. Not at all. I mean, I doubt it, man. I feel like he's dead set in his in who he is. So ain't nothing gonna change about him.
Do you think he might be like overhyped or like kind of like overconfident just because he is this undefeated guy and like he hasn't really had much problems with the UFC so far?
I mean, he's good. I mean, it's like I can't tell another man if he's overconfident or not. You know what I mean? Confidence is what gets everybody here. Like every fighter is confident. Just it's how we go about it. I don't want to say how he goes about it is kind of abrasive. You know what I mean? Like I'm just as confident in myself, but I just don't I don't put it out there like he does. But I mean, well, he's good. He's a good fighter, and he's ranked. So I'm gonna treat him as such.
This fight originally Dana announced for 299 in March. Like, why did it get moved to February?
It was. I feel like whenever I got news of the fight, it was originally supposed to be in February. You know what I mean? Like that's what my coach is telling me, and then some people were messaging me after the fights. Once I forget which card it was, and saying Dana announced a fight, and it was like in March. I was like, hold up, what the fuck? In Miami, I was cool with that, man, because it was like there was like going to be three big welterweight fights on it. So I feel like Dana wanted to do that to have like kind of like a little tournament style or whatever the fuck he wanted to do. But no, I'm glad it's in February. I've been ready for like you know what I mean. I'd rather get a fight early in the quarter of the year and then another one instead of wait till March. Kind of messes up my schedule.
And your last fight against Shavkat, like, what do you take away from that? Because like you've given him the toughest fight, like, and he's kind of run through everyone else except for you.
I mean, what do you mean? What do I take from it?
Yeah, like what do you take away from that performance then, and like to apply to this one?
Just I to be honest, which is kind of crazy. I don't know. I took Shavkat a little too lightly. Like you know what I mean? Like I just something about me. I felt like I was just way better than him. You know what I mean? Clearly I was wrong, but you know what I mean? I didn't prepare adequately enough for a tough fight like that. You know, just I'm never gonna make that mistake again. Just you know what I mean? Looking at somebody on paper, thinking that you're just like that much better than them is like that was just it was stupid by me, and it won't happen again.
And I know you dealt with someone going in that fight, like kind of played a role in the weight. Like, do you worry about the weight cut for this one then?
Nah, I mean I think that was all from lack of preparation too. You know, if I had prepared the way I should have, I would have had no problem with that weight cut.
With Ian, he obviously likes to keep things standing. Like, do you just imagine this being like sort of a kickboxing fight then?
We'll see. I mean, I've been seeing he's been like training with Demi Maya, and he's in that shoot box. So I don't know if he's gonna wrestle or whatever. I just know it's gonna be high pace. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna push that pace on him. I've been seeing him in like a real like slobber knocker, so we're gonna see if we can take the fight there and see how he reacts to it.
I know Cormier and Rogan have talked about it when he fights, that his chin kind of is left up there at some points. Is that something you've noticed too when you've been looking at his fights?
Yeah, I mean, but that's his style. He likes to pull back. If he makes one mistake and he doesn't step back when he should step back, I'm gonna catch that chin. It's just it does pop up. Maybe he'll correct that, but if not, you know what I mean. I'm explosive and I come forward fast. So man, he just needs he better fix that.
Do you think this is like similar to that Wonder Boy fight where like he's fine playing that like point style kind of striking fight?
No, it's not gonna be. Wonder Boy was a little different. Wonder Boy moves different.
Mhm.
He punches different. Wonder Boy punches while he's moving. You know what I mean? Ian doesn't really do that. Ian moves, and he likes to set up things. You know what I mean? With his jab and kind of stationary when he throws strikes at the start. But Wonder Boy, he's constantly moving around.
Mm.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how he's playing the fight. We'll see what the hell he's gonna do. But I'm just gonna make sure I'm gonna push pace on him and stay in his face the whole fight.
He really hasn't faced much adversity in his career. Like, do you think that's something where if he's losing or if he gets dropped or something, like he may not react? Like, because we don't really know what's gonna happen. Like, if he starts losing the fight, because he's kind of been winning every single second of every fight he's been in so
Yeah,
far.
yeah. I mean, I don't see him quitting at all. You know what I mean? Especially with all the things he got, like his confidence and all the shit he talks. Like, there's no way in the hell he's gonna quit. Like, because you know what I mean? Will assassinate his pride, his character. So he's gonna fight to the end, but he just might go out.
How much pressure is on you going to this one? Just like coming off the loss, like second straight kind of like up and coming guy they're giving you, like they're kind of looking at that next star. Like how much pressure is on you then?
I mean, nothing really. Honestly, I just take it. It's just another fight to me. Like every fight is just as important as the next one. You know, like this fight feels just like it felt whenever I had my first fight. So it's nothing different.
You are like a big under, not a big underdog, like you're like plus 200-ish. Like, does that surprise you that he's like that big of a favorite over you?
I'd even look. I don't even care about that. Honestly,
With this one, then, like, how do you kind of see it playing out?
I see it playing out. I plan on taking him out in the second round, and if not, it's gonna be 3 round me controlling the fight and dominating.
And you've had like experience with these like 5 round fights, like just now back to a couple 3 rounds. Like, do you think that does benefit you where you can like push the pace a lot more than what you've had?
Yeah, yeah. The 5 round fights, man. I mean, I've only had one. That was
Yeah, I
with the
guess you
Wonder
only
Boy
have
fight.
one of them. Yeah, because I thought the Luque
Yeah,
one was, but the Luque from Muhammad
nah,
was
nah,
the main event,
nah,
which you
nah.
guys probably
But
should have been main event for that fight.
should have been right. Nah, but it's what was the question again? Sorry, I
Like
looked at something.
you've had the experience going 5 rounds. Like I know you've trained for that. Like, does that help you in these 3 round fights? You can like kind of push the pace a bit more.
Yeah, and also my training helps. We do for training camps. We do like 6, 7 rounds. Every time I'm doing like rounds for like fights, anywhere between 5 and 7 is I'll be ready for it no matter what. Like my cardio is on another level right now, so I'm ready for 7 rounds. Fuck it.
I know Ian is obviously ranked behind you, but like, what do you think a win here does for you? Like, he's calls himself the future. Like, a lot of people are pretty high on him as like the next contenders. Like, what do you think a win here does for you in this division?
I don't know. We'll see. I know it'll boost my name. You know, like I'm ranked number like 8 or something, and not a lot of people like follow me or really know me. You know what I mean? So you know, what I mean, after I get through this fight, I should get a pretty good pop.
Oh, what do you make of the welterweight division? Like, since you last fought, like obviously Edwards kept the belt. Like that Edwards Covington fight was very odd. Like it seems like Bilal's maybe next. Like what do you kind of make of that top division? Like it's still kind of staying at the top, but like it's slowly kind of looking like it's starting to move.
I mean, I don't know, man. I hope some shit moves. Bilal needs to get that fight. Like I feel like Bilal getting that fight is one thing that's going to help help things move along. You know what I mean? Like if Bilal doesn't get that fight, that's a straight up robbery. You know what I mean? And I think Gilbert's matched up. Gilbert's fighting?
That Jack Della Maddalena.
Stadium. Yeah, things are moving. I'm happy with it. Like if people are actually fighting, so you know what I mean. It's good for me. So because after I beat Ian, I want to make a push for the belt myself. So I don't want anybody like trying to duck and dodge me.
Were you surprised by how like lackluster that Edwards Colby fight was? Like I was expecting like a more exciting fight than what that was.
Nah, not at all. I expected it. I didn't expect that. I expected Colby to try to like dry hump fucking Leon on the cage, but I just didn't expect it to be like that boring. But I mean, you know, Leon did what he had to do, I guess.
Do you think Colby fights again? Like he's still kind of hanging in the top 5 of the rankings, but like I don't really know what he is out there for him really. Because like he seems like he only cares about the title of these big fights, and like I don't really know what's out there for him.
Yeah, honestly, I really don't give a damn about Kobe. We'll see what he does. Just if I get up there, just hope he needs to step aside and let me fight for the belt or fight me. But yeah, I don't care what he does.
Just last thing, like fighting Ian in February, like can set you up to have big years. Like what is kind of the goal then for you this year?
The goal this year, I'm just sticking with the goal right now that's at hand. You know what I mean? Ian Gary, and then after I beat him, I'll set more goals after that.
Well, Geoff, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
No problem, brother.